Let me see who in here. Who in here? You in here? Man, what the hell you doing here, man? Guess who's back? Man, back again. No, just today's topic. Why am I poor? You know why you poor? Cause you broke. No, I'm just playing. No, poor is a mentality, y'all. Poor majority. Let me see. The main reason that a poor person is poor is because of the attitude. Poor is a attitude, like the way that they think, how they spend their money, and one of the main reasons why people is poor is because they have no one that's, let's say, that has money or that's successful to even model. Majority poor people hang around other poor people and complain about rich people being rich or people with money having money. And the crazy thing about it, when you think about this, majority of the poor people that I know has a lot of habits. You know, majority of poor people that I know, they got a cigarette habit, they got a marijuana habit, they got an alcohol habit, they got a shoe fetish, an outfit fetish, they got a going out to eat habit. You know what I'm saying? If you follow me right now. Now, if we calculate all these habits up, and then we say, okay, within a month, this is what you're spending on your habits. You'll realize, and depending on how much money that they getting, is how much money they spending on their habits. When they got a little money, they go big. When they got a little money, they go scampy. So, poor people. Some, if you realize it, majority of the time you spending $1,500 to $2,000 just on your habits every month. You follow me? So if I just let's just say we're gonna go 10 months, 10 months with $2,000 that you keep spending every month. If you're spending 2,000 a month just on your habits, that's like $20,000. That's over $20,000 a year you spending just on your habits. Imagine if you saved your money. Imagine if you just learned how to stop all your habits, just cold turkey. You could just say, you know what I'm saying, I don't need to drink no more for a while. I don't need to smoke. I don't need to do none of my habits or none of my fetishes for a while until I get back on my feet, until I get me a car or something. Within like 10 months, I could have had like $20,000. I could have bought the car that I wanted. And cars don't even cost that much these days. For instance, you spending 2,000 a month, that's a car right there. You want a nice, even nicer car, you could wait 2 months. That's like 4,000. You can get a car for like 4,000. But your habits is more important. Here's a key for you poor people. Not saying that you broke. Well, you might be broke. But here's something to help you out if you want to save your money. You got to admit to yourself that you're being foolish And then you got to come to the realization that you're trying to impress the wrong people. Because if you need to be dressed to impress every time you go around people, that means something is something is wrong with you. Because you feel you would rather go broke trying to prove something that you ain't than to save some money and be the person that you are. I used to be like that. I used to have a cigarette habit. I used to have all these habits until one day I said, I wonder how much I spend a month on shit. And that was the day that I changed. Cause I realized, like, damn, I'm spending like when I say 2,000, that I was explaining myself. I was spending 2,000 a month just on all my fucking habits. Here I am, no car, no nothing. I'm driving my girl car. But I ain't got no car because that's what poor people do. We use excuses not to do our own thing because we just going to use, you know what? I could live the way I want to, spend my money on all the stuff that I want to spend it on, and just drive her car. I won't have to spend a large sum on just getting the car. Or I'm paying people to take me everywhere, which is another habit. Instead of just I'm spending ten $10 each time somebody taking me somewhere. So let's say I'm going back and forth somewhere. Let's say I'm going back and forth to work. I done spend $10 to go to work. I done spend $10 to get back from work. So that's $20 a day I'm spending just on transportation. Let's say in a week's time, that's $140 I done just spent in a week just getting rides. You follow me? I'm spending like almost $600 a month just by getting rides. Within 2 months or so, I done spent like 1,200. I could find a nice little in 2 months. I could just save my money for 2 months, and give me a nice little something just to get me back and forth to where I need to go until I could get what I really want. Because a poor mentality don't realize that it's about what you need it for, not for what it looked like. I will spend if I like my mentality now. I'm not. I don't have a poor mentality. I have a rich mentality. I would spend money. Let's say I could find a little nice little car. It ain't that. It don't look too hot. Whatever. But it got a nice little engine. It drives. And I spend like 800 on it, and it's getting me back and forth to where I need to be. So I just spent this 800. Now let's say this car lasts me 3 4 years. I done just saved all this money on going back and forth to getting somebody to take me back and forth to work for $20 a day. And within a 2 month period, I got me a little car, and now it lasts me 3 years. That's a hell of an investment, and that's what poor people need to start to realize that in order to be rich, you need to find out what you really need instead of what you want people to believe about you. It's okay not to go buy the Jordans that just came out and everybody got them before you. It's okay not to have alcohol every day. It's okay not to smoke every day. It's okay not to have a cigarette habit every day. Even with a cigarette habit, all you doing is the only thing that people think they need cigarettes for because you know what they need in reality? What I did some research on, all you need is the deep breath that you take when you take your cigarette. You ever notice when a person smoke a cigarette, first thing I used to do was take a deep breath, blow it out. The next drag. By the time I do it the third time, I feel like I really don't even need no more cigarette no more. I'm just like, I'm good now. I'm cool. And then that's when a person say, I needed that. Next time you need a cigarette, try breathing in like that 3 times. And watch that craving go away. So, with a poor mentality, you tell yourself that you're poor constantly. You always saying, I'm broke. I don't have no money. I need to get some money. I need to do this. I need to do that. But in reality, you just need to cut off a lot of your habits. You got more habits. You got more habits that don't do nothing, that don't benefit you than anything. So, it's okay to walk around in the same shoes for a year or so until you get yourself together. It's okay to put the weed down for a minute. You got to start realizing that in order to better yourself, you got to realize and admit that you have a problem. Majority of the time, it's a pride problem. People have a pride problem, so they stay poor. So, poor people, or people that feel like they poor, figure out what's unnecessary. What was you doing before your habits? Like, you wasn't born smoking cigarettes. You wasn't born drinking alcohol. You wasn't born smoking bud. You wasn't born drinking coffee. You weren't even born spending money. But like I said, I notice poor people always got a reason to spend money on something. It's like it's burning their pocket up. They need to hurry up and go buy something real fast. I mean, I need this, I need that. They already got their check spent before they even get it because they already know what they finna be going to get with it. Who are you trying to impress? Because in reality, don't nobody care. Because majority of the people you're trying to impress know the real you, and they know that you can't even afford what you're doing. You ever notice you talk shit about the person that just walk off, and you find out how poor they really? People talk about how poor they is and how they can't afford it, but they still doing it. I forgot $5 in their pocket, and instead of keeping the $5 to have some money, they done found somebody that they could put some money on to get some weed with. Okay, I'm gonna put this $5 with him, and we're gonna go get some weed, and I hope I get something to eat later. Somebody might be cooking. It might give me. I'm trying to get a plate from such and such. Some people would rather be high than to put some food in their stomach. When you being poor, man, it's only you thinking this. And all you got to do is change the way you living, and you won't be poor no more. Instead of allowing yourself to have habits that's taking money from you, try to gain some habits that will save some money for you. That's the key. Love to all, and to all, spread the light.